Okay, imagine this. You're spending your final days as a terminally ill gamer, right? You're pouring every last second of your remaining time into this absolutely brutal RPG called Inner Lunatic. You min-max your character, you pick the absolute most broken skills possible, and then, suddenly, you wake up inside the game. But here's the catch. You aren't the hero. No way. You are Nox von Rainhafer, the doomed final boss of the entire world. And honestly, the worst part? The game system has literally linked your real-world terminal illness directly to this new digital body.
30 days. That's it. When he opens his eyes in this incredibly dangerous fantasy world, he isn't greeted with a hero's welcome or some grand parade. He's greeted with a brutal, ticking countdown. The doctor looks at him and gives him exactly 1 month before his frail body just completely gives out.
So let's dive right into Section 1, Reborn as a Dying Villain.
Now you might be wondering, how exactly did he get this death sentence? Well, our gamer possessed the weakest son of the Reinhofer family, a ruthless bunch of dark nobles. During character creation, he basically got greedy. He selected 2 insanely overpowered genius traits, mana sensitivity and swordsmanship combat. But in the world of Inner Lunatic, grabbing 2 genius traits triggers a massive, devastating penalty, and that penalty is terminal illness. His stamina sits at a completely pathetic 2. Taking even a few steps down the hallway causes him to literally cough up blood.
But here's the thing, Nox has played this game 27 times. He knows the mechanics inside and out, so he initiates this absolutely insane survival hack. First, he just chugs a deadly 3-headed serpent poison. I know, crazy, right? Then, while actively dying from the venom, he bites straight into a solid stone golem core. It's this incredibly obscure hidden glitch in the game. The poison and the stone actually cancel each other out, completely pausing his death clock and triggering a massive hidden growth buff. He essentially glitches his own biology just to survive that first night.
Which brings us to Section 2, Beating the Twin Brothers.
To survive the overarching plot of this world, Nox desperately needs to enroll in the prestigious Eladon Academy. The problem? His family only has 1 spot left, and to get it, he has to win a brutal physical duel against his highly trained, incredibly arrogant twin brothers. To pull out a win, he activates his ultimate trump card, a skill called Genius Time. It's this aura that slows time around him, letting him effortlessly disarm and crush them in a 2-on-1 fight. But the cost? The cost is horrifying. Every single time he uses this skill, he permanently sacrifices 2 days of his rapidly shrinking lifespan. He is quite literally bleeding out his own life force just for the right to go to school.
And right after that bloody duel, he runs into Talia. She's the fiery hero who is literally destined by the game's lore to drive a sword through his chest in the future. Desperate to avoid this fate, Nox tries to push her away. He treats her like absolute garbage, telling her to rely solely on her own strength. But the plan backfires completely. By acting like this cold, untouchable villain and rejecting her, he inadvertently cures her deep-seated inferiority complex. Instead of hating him, she ends up giving him her unwavering admiration.
All right, let's move on to Section 3, Gathering a Dark Party. Since he is the designated villain of this universe, no shining traditional heroes are ever going to follow him. Instead, Nox has to recruit this wildly unconventional team of broken outcasts. We're talking about Lona, a clumsy but fiercely loyal maid, Loila, a tragic spy sent by his own father to monitor him, Carl, a rare obsidian horse that Nox literally resurrects from the dead using illegal dark magic, and Alina, a perpetually drunk potion genius. Each one of them plays a vital, completely unique role in his overall survival strategy.
But think about it. How do you actually win the loyalty of a spy sent to betray you? Well, during a monster hunt, a massive mutated hornet ambushes the party. Nox doesn't even hesitate to step up to fight it. But in a shocking twist, Loila, the spy, throws herself directly in front of the deadly stinger to protect him, nearly dying in the process. Nox uses some incredibly rare medicine to save her life, and forgives her betrayal right on the spot. In doing so, he officially secures her true, undying loyalty over his ruthless father. He's building an elite family out of the discarded.
This leads us right into Section 4, the Frontier Slaughter.
Before he hits the desolate wasteland to actively farm monsters and build up his life clock, his father gifts him a legendary sword called Stormbringer. This weapon multiplies magic exponentially, making the wielder basically a god on the battlefield. But of course, there's a catch. Its curse violently drains the user's lifespan and magic. To prove his sheer willpower to his terrifying father and master the blade, Nox literally grips the bare, sharp edge and endures 10 uninterrupted minutes of pure, life-draining agony.
Armed with Stormbringer, Nox initiates a ruthless 3-phase slaughter out on the frontier. First up, he secretly uses pheromones to lure a massive horde of ogres straight to his older brother's camp, manipulating the whole battlefield so he can safely farm them for experience. Next, he uses those exact same ogres as bait to lure out a monstrous giant worm. Finally, while the monsters are busy wiping each other out, he swoops in, annihilating the survivors and effortlessly slaughtering a band of corrupt knights, stealing all of their life force experience. It is pure, calculated carnage.
And let me tell you, the payoff is massive. After the dust settles, Nox checks his stats, and his lifespan has skyrocketed to exactly 122 days. For a guy who started with a mere month and coughed up blood just walking down a hallway, this is a monumental victory. He is finally truly off death's immediate doorstep.
All right, Section 5, Entering Eladon Academy.
Now that he's at the Academy, the main game's storyline violently kicks off, and the stakes skyrocket. Nox immediately begins clashing with the heavy hitters of this world. We've got Noah, a tiny but overwhelmingly powerful ice sage, Prince Louis von Artheim, who is an absolute master of causing bad endings, and Paracelsus, the ultimate sword genius of the game. Nox has to navigate these massive, highly dangerous egos while desperately hiding his terminal secret from everyone.
So when the arrogant Prince Louis challenges him to a duel expecting an easy win, Nox brilliantly flips the script. He proves that his genius isn't just in raw combat stats, but in absolute psychological warfare. By proposing a high-stakes, rule-breaking wager that completely throws the prince off his game, Nox manages to secure a total victory without burning a single day of his precious lifespan.
Finally, we reach Section 6, Embracing the Villain's Destiny.
As Nox starts pulling strings from the shadows to prevent the entire world's destruction, he faces a terrifying catch to his life-stealing ring. It's the classic problem of diminishing returns. Back when he was weak, killing low-level enemies gave him whole days of life. Now, they offer almost absolutely nothing. To gain even a single hour, he is forced to hunt and slaughter incredibly dangerous, high-level monsters. It's a brutal reality. The stronger he gets, the harder it is just to stay alive.
After waging absolute war out on the frontier, his peak lifespan hits 272 days. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but it is really just a temporary buffer. It's a small fortune of time that still demands constant, deadly battles just to maintain. The clock never, ever stops ticking. Faced with this endless, brutal cycle, Nox makes a really profound choice. He stops trying to be the traditional good guy. Instead, he decides to fully claim his tragic identity, fully embrace his villain persona, and fight his terminal fate with absolutely everything he has. He decides he will gladly be the monster in the shadows, just so that the world can survive the light of the heroes.
Through all of this in our explainer today, we've seen him gather his dark party, claim his cursed sword, and buy himself a few hundred days of life. But here's the thing. The main story of Inner Lunatic has barely even begun, and the real demons are just now making their move. So the ultimate question remains, what happens when the ultimate villain finally runs out of time?